and she has a new life, a new earth. Same thing with you and I, born again by the Spirit of God. To me, that's a beautiful, beautiful illustration. And, you know, just something for you to ponder, something for you to think about. Million Muslim march in D.C. set for 9/11. This ticks me off. This makes me angry. Million Muslim march set for 9/11, 2013. The writer of this particular article, who wrote this? Michelle didn't write it. She just sent it to me. Anyway, he's saying is when I expect, quote, things to get out of control, and this President of the United States may try to take advantage of the situation with an executive order. Now, I don't like to speculate stuff like that. I don't like to pass stuff like that along either. Who knows? Because every time speculation like this has gone on, like, you remember the 2012 Olympics? People were reading a game card and were diagnosing that 100,000 people were going to die at the London Olympics. Didn't happen. So anyway, but apparently there is going to be... Who's calling for this anyway? I don't see it here. Somebody check this out. Michelle, anybody out there listening? Check out whether or not this is even true or not. I want some background on this before I say anything else. Okay? That may be just the internet. And you know, they can't put anything on the internet that's not true. Right? So anyway, y'all help me out with that, all right? This ticks me off. Abortion clinic sends coupons to low-income women. Save $50 on Sundays. An abortion center that's open 7 days a week in Florida. I wonder why the ground keeps opening her mouth in Florida. Just saying. An abortion center that's open 7 days a week in Florida is giving away coupons to poor women in a crisis pregnancy so they can save money on their abortions. I'm not making this up. Florida Right to Life investigated this open on Sundays abortion center and learned that one of the doctors at this location is the notorious Dr. James Scott Pendergraft. You've no doubt heard about him before. We call him Florida's Dr. Gosnell, who lost his medical license 5 times in Florida. In 2011, he was hit with a judgment of $36 million. Actually, $36,737,660.16 in damages after he botched a 20-week abortion that resulted in a baby who survived his abortion procedure but was severely damaged. You can find this story vineoflifenews.com. Vine, as in vino, vineoflifenews.com. You can find that story on there. That makes me... That's just not even in good taste. That's disgusting. It's like a harlot handed out discount coupons on the street corner. That's the class that this falls under. It makes me angry to see this kind of garbage. And who prints the coupons? Who prints the coupon? I guarantee, and you say, well, they paid for them. If you're a printer, you run a printing business, you have a press, you do all this stuff, guy comes to you and says, I am get some coupons made up. Sure, where are you? What are you, with Walmart? Are you with Target? Are you with Kroger, groceries, Safeway? What are you with? I run the abortion clinic down the road here, and We're going to knock $50 off of baby killing if they come in on Sundays. That's for all them poor women out there kill their babies. You go, you know what? There's something wrong with you. There's something in your brain that's not right. What is wrong with you anyway? That's what you do. I've got several other things here. DARPA to genetically engineer humans by adding a 47th chromosome. Go figure. Go figure. You know what? I'm going to save that one. I want to look at that one later. Buddha boy goes 10 months without food or water. Scientific community is baffled. If you've not heard of Buddha boy, Google Buddha boy. I was watching a documentary on the Buddha. And he apparently spent several years, about 6 years of his life, emaciating himself, looking for enlightenment. The idea is that if you starved your body completely, you would get enlightenment. And so reportedly he was eating 1 grain of rice per day and drinking his own urine. The version of enlightenment that I follow from the New Testament, when you wake up and realize that salvation is by grace through faith in Jesus Christ, you don't get enlightened to the fact that you got to do without food. Man, you eat bacon. That's what you do. Is it possible for this boy, and they apparently tested him with scientists, and they monitored him for about 15 days. 15 days. And he never ate or drank anything in those 15 days. And they said, yep, that's true. But he said he's not had anything to eat or drink in 10 months. He just meditates his body into health. Is that possible? Remember this. In the book of Job, we find out that the devil can do things with the human body. That's what we found out. Found it out in the second time that Job was attacked. Satan attacked his body, made him sick, but God specifically said to Satan, don't kill him. And see, I like that. God's always in charge. God can restrain the destroyer. He can. That's so... The charismatic nonsense has this idea that devils are out there and you can't do, God can't do anything without your faith. He can't do it. That's stupid. Anyway, is it possible that this Buddha boy can go for 10 months without eating? I think it is. I think it's possible. We know that the man in the Gadarenes had superpowers, broke iron chains. So I do think it's possible. I just wouldn't want to sell my soul to stop eating for 10 months in order to do it. I was going to do this. Oh, I got a new advertiser. This portion of the Pastor Mike Online live broadcast is brought to you by Mojo. Mojo, the golf ball company. Guy sent me this, and I'm going, no way. All-seeing eye in the pyramid, 3 eyeballs like golf balls coming out of there. Absolutely crazy. And then there was another one that he sent me. Nike Golf. And by the way, if you don't, Nike is a god. He's one of these mythological gods. Nike Golf says there's a secret society of distance big hitters. You know what? I'm going to have to zoom in on this so I can read it. Hang on, where is it here? There's a secret society of distance big hitters conspiring to drive par 4s, reach par 5s and 2. Now you may call upon the carry gods. Balls Templar and the New World Game. Play it now, but say no more. The Mojo ball has a powerful core and a soft, feel-good cover. I am going to go to... and I always feel like I have to say this. No, I don't really have a sponsor for the Pastor Mike Online live broadcast called Mojo Golf Balls. Just saying. I am going to be in Lebanon, Missouri again. Pastor John Uder. When am I going? The 22nd and 23rd. That's next week. Thursday and Friday. And he wants me to talk about symbols and symbolisms and things like that. So I appreciate whoever sent me this. I'm going to use it. Speaking of symbols also, did you see the Bieber? This is his gods on him. Let's see here. He's got, you see the all-seeing eye. There, right above the all-seeing eye is a tiger, like a lion. On his arm there, on the forearm of his, let's see, what would that be? That would be his left arm. He's got an owl, a winged angel. Let's see here. What else is he supposed? But he's a Christian. He's a Christian guy. Okay. What else does he have? I see the owl and the tiger and the female angel, and she has breasts. What else? A crown, praying hands, all kinds of good junk. A Jesus with a crown of thorns on his calf. Pastor Mike, you're being judgmental. Justin Bieber is a very good, drunken, pot-smoking, fornicating Christian young boy. You shouldn't judge him. He's a Christian. He prays. Big whoop. I was going to finish this last Thursday. It ran out of time. And I've been blabbing again today. I'm going to run out. Of course, that's what I do in the Pastor Mike Online. I blab. Been talking again today. And I want to finish this. I was dealing with this idea of typology. And I was going through the scriptures to show you the basis, biblical basis for typology. And that's, to me, that is very, very important. Because if somebody says, these prophecies can be seen in these old stories from the Old Testament. And I'm, wow, really? I sort of, and God has helped me do this. It's not my nature. Trust me, it is not in my nature to set high standards for myself. Trust me on this one. Okay? But God has helped me over the years to accept nothing less than a high standard of belief, a high standard of proof, a high standard of plausibility, doctrine, and so on. Some people, I've just read some things over the years where some people will find one obscure verse in the Bible and develop a whole doctrinal base on that one obscure reading. Well, this is how I read it thing. And all of a sudden, they're not in left field. They're over the foul line in left field. And they say, well, it's in the Bible right here. And you look at it and you're going, I don't see it. I don't see it. Well, you need to attend my seminar and this and that.